Good morning, everyone. Hi, my name is Menachem Creditor, and it is my honor to serve as Scholar in Residence for UJ Federation New York, where we come to you each weekday morning at 9 o'clock in the morning to offer some words of Torah, some words of music, some blessing. It is an enormous privilege and something that I look forward to more and more. I've archived, as I shared yesterday, all of the broadcasts that we've done so far. I think today is number 72. And whereas some people would look at that and say, oh, that's a lot, I feel like it is the beginning of something really precious. Anna, Arlene, Debbie, Dale, good morning, Stacy. I mean, this is so gorgeous what we do. I know that we will be continuing this for a very long time, and by that I don't mean isolation during a pandemic. What I mean is, look at the gift of being together each morning. Look at what it is to be a unified community that has a ritual expectation. In fact, that's the gift of ritual, and we're going to talk about that in a moment. So I just wanted to say what a privilege it is to be with all of you. So Jeff, Felice, Marcia, David, there's something really precious about this. And I know I say it often, but you should know I feel it more often than I say it. So let's take a breath. Enjoy some sunshine today. Ready to sing? Okay. Oh wait, now I have to make a correction. Susan, it's not a white shirt. It's just white because of the light. It's actually blue checkered. Okay, now that we've discussed all the important things. Start. Mindy, so excited you are with us live too, and Jonathan, love all the way to Krakow. Well, there's a lot to talk about. Donna, I'm glad you're here too. These dreams that I'm sure a lot of us are having during these very strange moments of life. The dreams are a swirling of so much of what we see, what we don't see. We talked about that actually 2 days ago. What an incredible experience it is to sort of meet each other in the dreamscape. There are movies about that, but in the real world that we inhabit right now, our dreams are actually a connective tissue. So, Donna, I'm saying to you that probably what makes you anxious is a place that I'm visiting once in a while in my dreams, and that might not be comforting, really, because the dreams are twisty and turny, but you're not alone in having them, which means when they're having, if you can hold on to the realization that we're all visiting that very strange place, at least you know you're not alone. There is something really important about this week's portion that we haven't yet spoken about. And I was teaching yesterday about the Parsha, and it occurred to me this gorgeous concept would be useful for us too. Andrea, yes, I'm going to be here tomorrow. In fact, I'm going to have a different guitar with me, which I'm excited about. A friend is bringing my guitar from the office that I haven't seen in months. And so So not only will I be here, I'll be here raring to go. Um, this is what I wanted to share from this week's double Torah portion. The book of Numbers is full of rebellions that happen from within the Israelite people, the Jewish people, and also attacks that happen from without. All of it exposing different kinds of vulnerabilities, and that's one of the depths of our Torah portion, because there are so many things that happen, and each one of them is a different raw aspect of our souls, of ourselves. Two things that happen are that Miriam and Aaron die. And we could spend a lot of time talking about how little is mentioned about Miriam's death. It seems to just happen, and then the story moves on. Rashi and other classic commentators point out that as soon as she dies, things fall apart even worse than before. The people complain about water, and that's one of the reasons that we have a legend that there was a magical well of water in the desert that would travel following Miriam everywhere she went. That everywhere she went was going to be a source of nourishment to others. And I think there's a lot to say about that. That's one of the reasons that many of us have a Miriam's cup at the Seder next to Elijah's cup. Redemption is in the here and now. The water is what we need right now. And Elijah's cup is about redemption in the future. Don't miss this moment. Don't stop believing in tomorrow. But what I wanted to point out is that Moses, in the midst of all of this, has his own moments of grief. In the moments that we see in the text, one rebellion after another, where he looks to God for help in moments of desperation, and he strikes out at a rock in anger because the people keep on pushing him to the edge. And can you blame him for how he feels? Can you blame him for finally just lashing out? The text is an interesting one, and this is what I want to share. The people complain about the lack of water when Miriam dies. Now, who wouldn't complain about the lack of water? It might be that the displaced grief is actually them saying, we are grieving for the loss of Miriam and all that she brought. It's not only about the water, even though that's an essential thing. We miss Miriam. We miss the familiar leader, her physical presence, what it meant to look at her face and take our cues from her emotional depth and commitment. There's something so pivotal, yes, Linda, about matriarchs and also loss. So I've taken the time these mornings to not point to loss often. There are moments where it's important to acknowledge, and the text, even in the most brief of ways, points to it this week. And Miriam dying, and Aaron dying, and Moshe living, that shouldn't be missed either. There is a mission that is larger than any one of us. You know, I'm representing UJ Federation in this broadcast each day, and UJ Federation is representing us all. There is a mission that is bigger than any one of us, bigger than any organization, bigger than any one community. And we are called to believe in it so far beyond what we can see ourselves. So I want to share with you a deep teaching from the beginning of this parsha. I was going to save it for tomorrow because I think it's one of the greatest hits of the portion, and I try to save those for Friday, but I'll decide in this moment to challenge myself to find something even cooler for tomorrow. The name of this week's portion, remember there are two, but the first one is called Chukat. And Chukat means law, but it's a kind of law. Chok is a kind of law that is different than mishpat. Mishpat is the kind of law that we would come to on our own, rationally. Like, do not murder, do not steal. Those are the ones that rationally I understand why they're there. But a chok is a law that doesn't have a rational explanation. An example of chok is kashrut. I understand that we ascribe meaning to kashrut. Some people think that it's healthier. That's not inherently true. I can keep kosher and eat unhealthy kosher food. And in fact, it has been shown many times that even though the the practice of preparing animals, if done ethically, right, is well implemented through kashrut. That doesn't mean that every kosher slaughter of an animal is done ethically. We all have to aspire. So it's not about clean. It's not about, more ethical inherently. Kashrut is a rule in the Torah that we don't have the explanation given. This is what you eat. This is what you don't eat. This is how you do it. No rationale. The rationales come later, and all of them are imaginative. Oh, kashrut is about being mindful in the way that I process my own experience in the world and food. Kashrut is about being separate and identifiable as a tribe. It's so powerful, but we don't really know the reason because the Torah doesn't give it. Well, this week's portion begins with a chok, a rule, a mysterious rule about a red heifer, which we spoke about yesterday, but briefly, a red heifer is to be sacrificed and the ashes are mixed with cedar and hyssop and mayim chayim, naturally drawn water, and that potion, when put together, has transformative properties that allows the priest who's become contaminated by contact with the dead to continue their work. There's a lot to say about that, but it doesn't make much sense at its essence. We're not told why this, why that. Really, it sounds a little bit like Stephen Sondheim's Into the Woods, right? A cape as red as blood. It's so strange. It's bubble, bubble, toil and trouble. It feels a little bit Shakespeare to me. So why is it called a chok? There's a beautiful teaching by Rabbi Jonathan Sachs that I just came across, who I recommend so highly to everybody. He says, the word chukat has within it chokek, which means to engrave deeply. And there's something deeper than the rational mind. There is something deeper than the world that I can observe. There is the world worth dreaming about and building. The definition of a mystic, according to Gershom Shalom, is someone who has an intimation of the world as it ought to be, is in deep pain because the world isn't yet where it ought to be. It's woefully far from it, and dedicates their life towards bringing this world 1 inch closer to the world as it ought to be, knowing it probably won't get there. So why do I share that? Because it is worth all the pain, so that we can help birth a world more worthy of these dreams, the good dreams. On the one hand, I see that a few of us, Stephen is quoting Sondheim, I'm with you, man. Linda, yes, magical thinking. Susan, yes, this is where faith comes in. Faith is about seeing beyond what we can see. It means, as my wife teaches in so much of her beautiful music, it means seeing with my eyes closed so that I can believe once again. There's a lot in this world that makes it hard to believe, that makes it hard to have faith. And the rational mind really is so subsumed, so consumed with everything going on. But the faithful heart sees beyond. So what I want to wish us is a comfort with a little bit of mystery in our lives. A red heifer. Believe in magic. Why not? I always look at this Torah portion when it comes up and I feel tickled. Like, I look at the portion about a red heifer and I say to myself, this can't be in the Torah. That's not in there. We don't believe in that kind of stuff. And the answer is, of course we do. Of course I believe in magic. I'm taught by the Torah how to live ethically in a world that has power beyond my own, and how to wield the power that sometimes I forget I have. But of course I believe in magic. That's another way of saying this world isn't all there is. The world to come is also in our hands, even if I can't see it. So the blessing I think I'd like to wish us is to dream magically a little bit, is to have more faith than feels natural or reasonable. Reasonable expectations rarely make the world move forward. And right now the whole world could use could use some forward motion. So let's get there. Let's decide to suspend some of our disbelief. Bring into your soul what some people call a second naivete, an intentional belief that the world can be better. I do believe. And I'm glad to share that with you. There'll be a moment, I'm sure, soon where I need you to share that with me. So let's make sure that we're there for each other consistently, that we have the expectation that we'll show up together. Not only 9 o'clock in the morning each weekday, and I'll see you all tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. Let's be together, dreaming about a world that is worthy. A world that so many can't even imagine could be, but you and I believe could and should. That's a good way to go into the day. So let's sing together, everybody. Have a day full of magic. So good to be together, everybody. Have a beautiful day, and see you tomorrow at 9.